Okay, today we're going to make one of these. Okay, this is a little ornament you can hang up on a door, or you can hang it up on a wall, or if you like to put a little hole through the top, you could even do it as a little ornament to hang from a mirror or something like that. You might even be able to make a keychain out of it, or a key holder of some sort. But you do what you want with it. It's really very simple to do. It just takes a little bit of patience to work on. What I'm going to do is cut two of these today, and we're going to do them with stack cutting. In other words, we put two pieces of wood together and we make our combination right away. You can do different kinds of wood, or you can use the same wood. It doesn't make any difference. Okay, so let's go to the bench and get this thing set up to work on. I got a couple little pieces of scrap wood here that I'm going to use to make this ornament. One of these is a fancy little wood with nice grain in it. I think it's called leet or something like that. And the other is just a plain little piece of plywood, about a 1/4 of an inch thick. This is about a little over a 1/4 of an inch thick, but it doesn't really matter. What we're going to do is we're going to piece them together with some tape, and then we're going to cut the pattern out, put it on top of this, and we'll be able to start to work on it. First of all, you take two and put them together as best you can. Nothing really critical here. And you put some box packing tape around them, hold them together. Now this serves a couple of purposes. One, it holds them together in place so that you make the same cut with two different boards. But it also prevents the blade from burning the wood, and it allows a little bit easier cutting too of the wood. So I'm going to get this all on here and tape it down nicely. It also makes for getting the pattern off nice and easy later on too. You can just peel it off. It should come off fairly easy, although sometimes it does get a little bit stuck down, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. We take our scissors, our pattern, and we cut it to around the size of this block of wood. It's now a block of wood. Go around the outer edges roughly, and I would cut the bottom here nice and flat, so we don't have to do any more cutting than we have to. Take this, we're going to get some adhesive and just glue that right down on the piece of wood. So we're going to do that now, and I'll come back and show you what we need to do. Okay, I've glued this down to the board pack, so to speak, with some spray adhesive, and it's nicely planted down there, so cut around the pattern on our scroll saw in a little while. But before we do that, we gotta have to cut some little holes in the boards here to allow me to put my saw blade through there to cut the internal pieces, and eventually we'll cut around the outside with no problem. So first we're going to drill these holes with this little drill press here. Okay, we've drilled off all the holes that we need, and we're going to insert the blades through those to cut out the little segments. Now, you're kind of critical up on the top here, really small holes. They're supposed to be windows in the lighthouse, and not going to be really too fussy about that because this is a lighthouse, and with age, of course, the lighthouse gets a lot of wear and tear, and the windows would have been a little bit funky after many years, so if they're a little bit ragged looking, that's fine, no problem. These will probably be a little squarer, but even those I might purposely misshape them a little bit to make it look like a well-used lighthouse. Okay, so we're going to take this over to the scroll saw now and get to work on it, and we'll cut out all the pieces that we need.
my attention. Your wish will be my rule, and maybe you'll be good to me and keep me after school. An apple for the teacher, that's how I'd better start. Then after a while you may give in and let me bring my heart.
Okay, we're all done cutting now. You just take the blade right up to that crack and we can now disassemble our pattern. Throw this away, and we have two lighthouses. One of the cheaper wood and one with a fancier type of wood. You'll notice we have a couple of seagulls flying by in the background. I might point out a couple of things as I was doing this. You'll notice I have these enhancement lines which I drew in to make it look simulating the texture of the building, plus the texture of the rocks that are down on the island. Of course, I call this Lighthouse Island as the title of the pattern, so it fits in very nicely. But you got to be careful in cutting those too, because you have to drive all the way inside and then you got to back out again to make sure you can continue with your cut later on down the road. This bottom one, of course, was a separate one altogether, so I had to go to the bottom and hold everything together. Sometimes it yanks up on the other little pieces and would rip it right out, so you got to be sure to hold the piece down really firmly as you are doing your cutting. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we'll take these over to the bench and remove whatever tape we've got on it, and we'll begin doing a little bit of sanding to finish these off. Okay, the next project is to get the tape and patterns off of the projects. Here's the front one, of course, which has most of the tape on it. We just simply get it on the edges here as you can. You have to have pretty good nails to do this, or at least one good nail, which will not be very good when you're done, but that's okay. We peel it off very carefully. Be sure to hold down the pieces while you're doing it, because again, with those little lines that we've cut out, could possibly cause pieces to break off, like the seagull, for example. But if you're very careful, you shouldn't have too much of a problem with it. Okay, this is coming off rather nicely at this point. Whether it will continue to do so, we'll find out. And a little bit more down here, and we should have it pretty well done. Alright, there we go. This is a rather weird looking lighthouse with a grain of that wood. That one will probably stand up by itself. I don't think this one will, except in a lot of... That did stand up, okay. You could even put a base on these too and make them an upright type of ornament if you'd like to do that. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is take them over to the sander and sand them down a little bit, smooth them out, and then we're going to go spray some lacquer on this one, and this one here we're going to spray with black. Okay, we're over here at the sanding wheel now, on the sand fleet, and we're going to see if we can take some of the fuzzies off. Turn the sanding mop on, and I'll hold on to these little seagulls. You don't want them to come off. Go all around the edges here. Should be able to take all those little fuzzies off the edges of the windows and along the outside of the frame of the lighthouse. And at the same time, sand down the wood. Kind of nice. you're going to use a sanding wheel like this, do it very lightly. Okay, look a lot better now. A lot smoother looking, and the fuzzies are all gone from the edges too. Okay, we're going to take these over to the sander, to the paint area, and put some lacquer on this one, and we're going to do this one in black, as I said before. Okay, we're going to take some Ace Premium glossy enamel here. It only takes, it says it dries in about 25 minutes or less, and it usually does. It's pretty fast. And shake it up a bit, and we're going to spray this down on the front, and we'll do the back later on also. So this could be either a stand-up or a wall ornament. You'll see the grain, of course, stands out very nicely, but when you put this on, it makes it even pop a little more. Here we go. Okay, let's just get it started. That'll be fine. I'm going to go do the black one now. Also. Paint to dry. I thought I'd just fill you in a little bit about the saw that I'm using. This is the Excalibur by General International. It's an older saw now, probably about 10 years old anyways. And I was using a number 5 reverse blade on that particular project. I collect a little bit of dust on this, of course, after a while, and I use a little drawer at the bottom here that I sort of invented. Slides nicely in there. You can make one of these. I have a video on YouTube explaining how this is made if you want to make one for your own particular saw. Also in the background, I have a fan which is set up in reverse so that it draws, when I start cutting, it automatically draws any dust that might be accumulated here against the filter as the dust is sucked in by the fan. It goes on when I press the foot switch. You can see here. Tighten this up without making a mess here. Okay. When I turn the saw on, the blade starts spinning and draws the dust in there. When I take my foot off it, it stops. So it's a handy little device to have. Okay, well, I'm pretty well finished with this project. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, you might want to click on the like button on the bottom of the screen here. And if you'd like the pattern for this lighthouse, I have a little link down below. You can just click on it, take you to my website, and you can download it for free. Thank you.